What's up, Marquette? It's been a while since we've shown you any MU athletics.
We'll wrap up basketball, bring you more tennis and lacrosse, and hit the ground running with some track and field.
Ready? Let's go.
Welcome to the Golden Eagles Sports Report. I'm Chris Chavez.
And I'm Mike Cianciolo. College basketball is over until next November, but let's review how the Marquette men's squad did in the 2012-13 season. The basketball team finished with an overall record of 26-9, ending Big East play 14-4 to win their first ever Big East title. They were selected as a 3 seed in the NCAA tournament and rode 2 dramatic victories to the Sweet 16, where they defeated 2 seed Miami convincingly and advanced to the Elite 8 for the first time since Dwayne Wade took Marquette to the Final Four in 2003. However, they lost to Syracuse. Reflecting on a magical season for Marquette is forward Steve Taylor and guard Vander Blue.
The first year was pretty good, not what I expected. People doubted us and they didn't think we were going to go as far as we did, so it was pretty good to change people's outcome of us.
It was a fun season. I learned a lot, had a great time with the team. I think we made a great run, learned a lot, and I'm really excited about next year.
We just heard from Steve Taylor Jr. and Vander Blue about this past season in Marquette basketball, and what a season it was as the Golden Eagles reached their first Elite 8 since 2003. Joined here at the analysis desk with Shawnee Smith, Sean Owens, I'm Danny Gallagher. And guys, at Marquette, we haven't seen a team that has not gotten to the Sweet 16 or further. What do you see happening in 2013, 2014?
Well, you know, Denny, we can look forward to a very strong recruitment class from Marquette and Buzz Williams. They've got 4 ESPN top 100s, including 2 right here from the local Milwaukee area. What I look forward to seeing is the freshmen kind of take over, but with the seniority leadership as well. One thing that scares me, though, is that there are rumors that Vander Blue is looking for the NBA. A little scary for me because we don't necessarily have a point scorer as much as Vander Blue did this past season to kind of fill his shoes for next year.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Sean. If Vander returns next year, we could see a team that could go farther than just the Elite 8. We're returning Jameel Wilson, and I think we have to give a lot of credit this past season to Devontae Gardner.
Absolutely.
He's finally making a mark. He's becoming a threat to the offense that not a lot of teams looked for in the past, so we can definitely see that as we come into next season. Also, from Dominican, we have Jameel Wilson's cousin, who I feel will battle Derek Wilson very competitively for the starting point guard position.
Well, someone has to after Jamal Ferguson made his exit this past week. Let's send a bounce pass back over to Chris Chavez.
Buzz Williams lost another player on Tuesday, almost a week after junior guard Jake Toms decided he was transferring from Marquette. Jamal Ferguson elected to do the same and leave the university after not seeing much playing time as a freshman under Williams.
Positive news for MU basketball fans came Tuesday as CBS Sports reported that Chris Otule would return to the team for a 6th year. The 6'11 center will complete his 4th full season with the team after missing most of the 08-09 and 2011-12 seasons with injuries.
The Marquette women's basketball team ended the season with a .500 record of 16-16 and a conference record of 7-9. They were led all season by senior forward Serena Simmons. Simmons finished her career with over 1,000 points, but the season came to an unfortunate end in the WNIT with a close 59-61 loss at home to Northern Iowa. Recapping the season that was for the Lady Golden Eagles is sophomore guard Arlisha Morse.
Well, this past season, Coach Terry emphasized, playing to your strengths. I'm a shooter. KP is one of our best post players. Brooks, a guard that can get into the basket, pull up. And we knew, if we play to our strengths, the scoreboard would take care of itself. And if we play defense, that was something we always emphasized in practice. Whatever defense we play, we need to get stops. If we didn't get 3 stops in a row in practice, we're going to keep doing it until we got it. And that was just our biggest thing with the season.
Back here again, talking more MUBB, this time on the women's side, joined by Sean Owens, Shawnee Smith, I'm Danny Gallagher. And to put it nicely, it was a rough year for the Lady Golden Eagles on the hardwood as they finished around 500, but an improvement over the 2011-2012 campaign. What do they have to do to get to that next level?
I think, Denny, what was the hardest thing for the Lady Golden Eagles this past season were definitely the injuries that they faced. They lost Gabby Minix, the starting point guard, at the beginning of the season. And as well as Brooklyn Pomeroy did at the position, it's still hard coming in as a freshman, balancing academics, learning how to play at the collegiate level. But the one thing that this team has is drive and competitivism. I feel like they'll do so much better next year. Big step. I can see them going to the NCAA tournament next season.
Right, and along with the injuries is they need to limit their turnovers. One thing that I saw while covering Marquette women's basketball is 19 turnovers a game, 20 turnovers a game. They limit those, they're guaranteed to score more buckets, and they once again need to influence on their post players. They got 3 big post players, 2 being Catherine Plouffe and Chelsea Butler, who were phenomenal this season. Look for more success out of the post for the Marquette women's
Definitely.
basketball.
Catherine Plouffe is going to be key next year, getting it into the post, being a senior and having that experience underneath her belt.
Well, it'll definitely be an interesting storyline to watch as we go through the offseason and into next school year. And hey, Chris Chavez, we have some track coming up. What's this?
When we return, we'll bust out the race blocks and get you to the track, so stick around. Golden Eagle Sports Report continues with men's track and field action.
Last week, Friday, Marquette hosted a dual meet with UWM at Valley Fields. Let's see how the women did first.
And we'll start off with the women's 100-meter dash. So don't blink now. That's Carly Shue in the middle lane with the win in 12.07 seconds. I promise you that's not the last we'll see of her from her big day at the Valley.
In the 100-meter hurdles, Marquette was not much of a factor. The Panthers take the first 3 places, and Melissa Boudelier fourth with 21.41 seconds.
Upping the distance here in the 1500 was split with 3 Golden Eagles and 3 Panthers. Tie pack early, but as you see, things start to string out. And cue the Kayla Spencer takeover in 3, 2, 1. Running alone, she wins it in 4:47. Marquette takes the top 3.
Oh, hey, Carly. We remember her from the 100. She was the second leg of this relay, but it would be Chanel Franklin capping off with the win in 47.39 seconds. Then to the 400-meter dash we go. We've got 4 Marquette runners in it. That would be Kate Hine right there with runners a few meters behind her. Easy win in 56.28. Getting a nice congrats there from teammate Katie Tolan.
And we've got freshman Molly Hansen taking things out pretty hard in the 800. And after a brilliant indoor season, there was no stopping her on her home turf. She breezes to the win in 2:16, 5 points. Women's 400-meter hurdles, bit of a gap here, but it would be second place finisher Michelle Gardner winning it all, and then Marquette not a factor.
Close race in the 200 as they come down the final stretch wide. Chanel Franklin gets credit for first, Homan in second, Kemmerer in third.
In the women's 3K, that's Sarah Poyer, the freshman, pacing things out early. Christina Slepka wins it in 10:21 as she begins to pull away halfway through the race. Hannah Fred, the Pewaukee native, was also in that.
Go Pirates.
In the women's 4x4, this is a relay team that has set records in indoor. That's Laura Schweikert, the first leg. Third leg, Katie Tolan was pretty much the difference maker here as she pulls away, and they cruise to the victory in 3:58. Actually, second, just 4 seconds shy away from the victory.
We saw how the women did, and now here's a little recap. We've got Carly Shue took first place in the 100-meter dash with 12.77 seconds.
That was kind of pretty much her fastest performance of the season. She's still out to get personal best in the 100 and the 200, but it was pretty much a blowout. As you see, most of these were victories, and Marquette took both the relays.
From women's competition, we go on to the men.
We'll start off with the shortest race of the day, and that would be the 100-meter dash. And things are really tied up in front, but that's Washington Farrington crossing the finish line in the outside lane. He's second in the Horizon League for the race. Glenn Lawrence, first Golden Eagle to win.
To the 110 hurdles we go. The Panthers take the first 2 places. Marcel Kirkmanby finishes third for the Golden Eagles. 2 points there for Marquette.
In the 1500, that's first year law student Ty Leverington on the outside trying to move in and take an early lead. Him and Jack Hackett would lead the race for the most part. It's pretty much almost like a workout for them as you see very little strain on their face. They cross the finish line 1-2, Hackett 3:59, Lev 4 flat.
Get ready for some relay action. There it's Marcel starting things off with the leadoff leg, and he hands it to freshman Jordan Smith. And then Glenn Lawrence would anchor the race as the Golden Eagles finished in 44.39, but another Panther victory there.
Putting the baton down for a minute, Connor Stengel was making his return to the track after an injury hampered the end to his indoor season. He would finish second in this race ahead of freshman Anton Rice.
6 Golden Eagles towed the line for the 800. 2012 Big East champ Kyle Winter cruises to the victory in 1:53. Second place Brendan Franz finishes 4 seconds later.
It would also take 4 seconds for William Hennessy to cross the finish line behind the top 3 Panthers in the 400-meter hurdles. The freshman ran 1:02. Some lost point opportunities here for the Golden Eagles.
Now it's Washington Farrington and Glenn Lawrence in a battle again. This time it's the 200-meter dash. Down the straightaway they push, but it will be the UWM junior for the win in 22.14. Lawrence less than a second behind in 22.42.
Lots of gold and blue in the 3K, and ooh, we almost get hit by a snot rocket there. Thanks, Patrick Mogg. And it's the giant ginger up in front at Spencer Agnew on his tail, but it was really more of a workout as they cross the finish line 4 wide, smiling, laughing, talking, kissing babies. Cody Habercorn gets the official win.
All right, cue the drums. Here we go, the grand finale. Lawrence chasing a Panther again in the 3rd leg of the 4x4.
But it would be down the final straightaway. Does Winner have the kick for the win? Oh, it's tight, but no, just runs out of real estate.
And Panthers take it. Sweet Mohawk, bro. They win the men's side 102-88.
And looking at some of the times here, Glenn Lawrence, those are both personal bests in the 100 and the 200. That's 11 flat and 22.42 respectively. Kyle Winter just a few seconds off his personal best in 153.56. Jack Hackett just trying to get the gears going, some rust busting in the 1500 on the track. And Cody Habercorn, I mean, there was less than a second separating those 4 guys, but a lot of lost points if you check out the section, the lower section with the hurdles and the relay.
MU missed the win in the 4x4, but we've got an interview with Kyle Winter from our very own Mark Freund.
Thanks, guys. Joining the Golden Eagles Sports Report now is senior 800 and 4x4 runner for the Marquette track and field team. This is Kyle Winter. Kyle's here to talk about this past Friday's dual meet with UWM, a meet that the Golden Eagles and Panthers obviously split, the women beating the Panthers while the men fell. Obviously, the Marquette track and field team is getting ready to move on towards the Big East and NCAA tournaments. But Kyle, just want to gather your thoughts on the meet this past Friday. What did you see from your team specifically that maybe you thought you did well or that you might need to improve on?
First of all, I want to congratulate the women. They did a really good job. I'm very happy with their performance. I think over the past few years that I've been here, the women actually hadn't won a lot of the duels that they had against UWM. So this year they did a great job. They came out, competed, and did very well. I'm happy with that. As far as this year, I'm also very happy with the men's distance team. The 800, 1500, and 3K went very well for Marquette. We placed at least top 2 in every event for those, and I'm happy, very happy with that, very proud. We did fall this year in the sprints a little bit, including the 1 and the 2. Losing Tyler O'Brien was a big factor with that, but it just shows that we still have some work to do, and we need to be ready for next year.
And you personally are a standout on this Marquette track and field team. You're the defending indoor champ in the 800, and you had a strong meet on Friday, 153. I know it's not a PR, but how are you feeling at this point in the season?
I'm feeling really good. This season we did a lot more distance training than speed training. Like I was telling you before, the 1500 is something that we might try to do at some point this year, maybe at the meet before conference, something that I could do as a workout. I really like to see what I could do in that event. But training has been going really well. The 153 at this last meet against UWM was more of a time trial than anything, telling me that I'm in good shape and that I'm ready to roll for this next weekend. at Western Illinois, and then intern after that in California. So the plans for this next weekend would be to run fast. I'm hoping to run a 150, possibly a 149 if possible. If we could get some runners from Illinois and Iowa in the race, it could definitely happen. And then after that, I would really like to run probably the PR of the season so far in California. And that's the plan.
Sure, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Carly Shu. She's turning into a budding star for this Marquette track and field team. What did you think of her performance on Friday, and just speak to her kind of leadership taking on this role now?
She is so calm, cool, and collected all the time. She does so well in her events. She's so humble. The way she carries herself speaks volumes for the Marquette team. I think she did 4 events by herself this weekend, winning, I think, all of them. So that's incredible. Carly Shu is what people look at Marquette track and field and say, geez, like, that's a Division I athlete right there. You don't get much higher than that. And I don't know. She's a great person. She's great on and off the track. She does well in school. She's a role model for the athletic student athletic community.
She had an incredible leg in the 4x1. Marquette was a couple paces behind, and she just got the baton and blew it away. She's a great star for this team going forward into the future. But speaking of the future, you guys have several meets left before Big East and NCAA competition. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the rest of the season?
Really looking forward to California. California, we get to run at Mount Sac. Probably one of the biggest meets we'll run at the entire season, besides Big East, and hopefully regionals. We'll keep our fingers crossed. But California should be a blast. Last year at California for me, it would have been my PR of the season. I'm sure of it. Had a little bit of a foot issue. It was a real bummer. I had to soak my foot in iodine the night after the race because the bottoms of my feet were ripped open, and that was just a whole nother story. But I'm really looking forward to California. That's where I'm going to put all my marbles in and really go for it out there. I want to make regionals this year, so that's going to be the place to do it, I think.
All right, Kyle Winter, thanks for coming in, and obviously, hopefully, big things for the Marquette track and field team and Kyle Winter going forward. Back to you.
Thanks, Mark. After the break, we're coming up to men's and women's lacrosse and tennis. Stay tuned. Welcome back, Marquette fans. Looking to develop their skill set and experience, the Marquette women's soccer team hosted the U16 Ontario Canadian national team on April 3rd. Beginning the game off here, Marquette struggled offensively, and Ontario would jump out to an early 1-0 lead. But the Lady Golden Eagles stepped up their defense, allowing only 2 shots on goal. Golden Eagles poured on the offense afterwards as Anne-Mary Lynch, Megan Kelly, and Shalise Miller all knocked in goals for Marquette and took the match against their Canadian counterparts 3-1. There is freshman Shalise Miller's goal. Now to talk about building a team in the spring season is women's soccer head coach Marcus Roders.
You know, I think the team is really motivated. Just from the standpoint, we're trying to build, not just on last year, you know, we're trying to form a new team, new cohesiveness. You know, we have some players out there who now have had a lot of experience, and then we have some other players who are just younger, who for whatever reasons just haven't had it yet. You know, some are coming off injuries, some haven't had a chance to play the minutes. And these games are really important for us to kind of develop, you know, team chemistry, team play, understanding, cohesiveness on the field, that hopefully then we can carry forward to the fall and keep building on it.
Current Marquette juniors Emily Jacobson and Megan Kelly of the Lady Golden Eagles soccer squad have been invited to attend the U23 Women's National Team Camp. The week-long training camp runs from April 13th through the 20th and will be held at the Home Depot Center in Carlson, California. The U23 team will scrimmage with the U20 team on April 16th and April 19th. Let's hear more about the honor from Coach Marcus Roders.
They have shown how good they are. You know, now they can pretty much do it at the highest level and the biggest stage. You know, there's a women's national team, the full team, which that's still another level. The U23s is right underneath. It's a week-long opportunity to play with some of the best players in the country. Players their age, some are already older out of college, you know, some are already in the pro ranks. And, you know, I think it's, you know, we're excited for them. At the same time, you know, I think this speaks volumes about our program, you know, continuing to develop players that are getting to that level.
Marquette men's lacrosse took on Notre Dame last week Tuesday. They had a tough outing as they would lose 17-5, but they did get 2 goals from Bernal and a goal each from Vorak and Whitlow.
Marquette took on Denver last Friday and suffered another loss there. Denver, the number 3 ranked team in the nation. It was a close game in the first half as it was 6-2. Things got carried away in the second half. Final score was 15-4. Marquette saw 2 goals from Tyler Melnick and a goal from freshman McFarland and Jerry Nobile. Kyle Whitlow and Connor Gately each had an assist.
Hear what Joe Amplo said about the benefactors of these tough losses.
We told these guys when they came here, they're going to compete against the best teams in the country. You know, it's my fault that they had to do it 3 days, within 3 days of each other. But it's a great experience for them, and we can look back on that in days and weeks and months and years to come to say, look, we competed against those 2 teams, and because we're going to be somewhere, and that's going to be a big part of it. We're going to get to a spot with the development of this program, and we're going to look back on these tough experiences, and that's going to help us in our growth. Those are the reasons why we're going to grow into a very good program, because we've battled the best, and we've made a ton of mistakes, and we're going to learn from them. And that's part of the maturation and growth process that we face.
Marquette women's lacrosse suffered an ugly loss to Cincinnati by a final score of 14-5. Bright side, Emily Donovan had a goal, as well as Brown and Costanza. Gleason had 2 goals to lead the team, but it would be Curtis of Cincinnati with 2 goals and 2 assists that would outdo them. Pearson had 4 goals and 3 assists for the Bearcats.
After their loss on Friday, they took on Louisville Sunday and sustained an even worse loss, 21-2. Costanza had an assist. Boss, she tallied a goal. Dubois had a goal, and the team had a total of 22 turnovers and 23 fouls. A rough outing in Louisville, Kentucky. And talking about the tough Big East competition now is head coach Meredith Black.
Big East is a tough conference, really tough conference. We knew that going into it. We were expecting a really tough game. I think in Cincinnati we played a good game and we were able to stay in the game for most of it till the very end. But in Louisville, I think they went at a speed that we couldn't keep up with. They went really hard, and we just weren't there yet.
I think it's time to take the court for some tennis, Mike.
Yep, that's right, Chris. Both men's and women's tennis had meets over the past 8 days, and to Hellfair Tennis Stadium we go.
The MU women taking on number 16 ranked Notre Dame in the last home match of the season. We'll go to number 1 for the doubles first with Ina Hernandez-Soler and her partner Allie Dawson. Dawson with a quick kill and the ND return point. Marquez Hernandez shown here, kind of confusing the defense of Notre Dame. Notre Dame will claim another point, and Notre Dame scores. Here's Soler again with the serve. Powerful strike there. Great teamwork between Soler and Dawson. But Marquette, Notre Dame is not able to return that blistering shot. So now it's Allie Dawson hits into the net. Notre Dame gets the tally. Dawson skies a ball over the net only to leave Soler out to dry for the Notre Dame point. Final score, 6-1, Notre Dame.
Men's tennis taking on Cleveland State at home. Head coach Steve Roadcap watching his team in action. That is the doubles team of Dan Mamilat and Vukasin Tefanovic taking on Ali Shabib and Matt Ford of the Vikings. MU with the point there, and Mamilat and Tefanovic grinded out their match but fell victim and lost their set 8-6. Moving on, that is the doubles duo of David Pakowitz and James Stark. A strong serve starts it and excellent volleying on both sides, but Cleveland State can't get it over. Point Marquette. Then on the return, it will be Marquette who sends it over low, and again the Vikings fall short hitting the net. Up 7-5, Packowitz and Stark will take the set here and defeat Jorg van der Loo and Joe Van Meter 8-5. MU wins the overall home match 4-3.
More Marquette men's tennis action as they take on the Cougars of Chicago State. Chicago State with the first serve in singles action. Javier Valera Hernani returns a serve down the line for the point. Hernani with the serve, and the ball volleys back and forth before Hernani gets a golden opportunity for a stinger down low, down the right side of the court. And again, Hernani cleaning things up against the Chicago State guys, ends it with a backhand to beat the Cougars in a close 4-3 match. And we'll hear more from Coach Steve Rodecap on getting off to a good start on the day.
The first match obviously is, key to get off to a good start, because I think that feeds momentum into the second match. I always try to preach to these guys one match at a time, and that every match is important, every match is of equal importance. I feel that they did a good job of getting through both.
Back here one last time with Sean and Shawnee, and we just heard from Coach Rodecap of Marquette men's tennis. And they have a nice little streak going on at the current moment. With 2 games left till the Big East tournament, how do you foresee them ending up down the stretch?
Well, Denny, I actually attended the game Saturday night when they killed Chicago State. And one thing Steve Rodecap mentioned to say was, returning home, how excited the team were. They play better at home because at home they play inside versus outside, and it's really different with their sport. With having the last 2 games at home before hitting the Big East tournament, I feel like they're going to go into the tournament on a really solid note.
Yeah, they got one tough game, and that's the second one against Wright State. They got a pretty easy test against DePaul, who's only 5-15 on the regular season. So I think they should have some confidence going into the Big East tournament, depending on how they play against Wright State, limiting service errors and limiting just errors overall in general.
One thing with our men's tennis team is they really have developed their doubles game throughout this season, which will help them immensely coming into this tournament.
Game, set, match. Let's send it back over to Chris and Mike.
And that'll do it for this edition of the Golden Eagle Sports Report. So thanks for watching.
For our analysts Denny Gallagher, Sean Owens, and Shawnee Smith, as well as my co-host Chris Chavez, I'm Mike Cianciolo. Good night, Marquette.